All right, so this game was pretty much won out of the opening here. I'm picking first, and you can see just by looking at the board that it's going to be a rough game for wood and brick. Brick is really scarce, so I want to get on the best rock tile that I can. In 1v1 Catan, rock is really the most powerful resource you have, and I want to deny this 8 rock from my opponent. And we're going to go ahead and see what they end up picking here. I picked the 8-3-4 because it gives me development cards right away. In 1v1, you really want development cards just flowing the entire game. It gets you resources. It allows you to move your robber and block your opponent's resources, as well as getting you largest army and victory points. All of these things are really beneficial. So my opponent is still thinking here. They don't have really great options. I was really expecting him to place on the 6-9-3 as a potential resource in the top right, or 6-9-2 was another good one. Also the 4-5-11 and the 4-11-9 makes some sense. The 10-4-5 with the 2 wheat and the 1 wood was another potential spot for him to pick. Really going after the wheat, and you can maybe build down to the wheat port. Could have been an option. He goes with the 4-9-11, the 2 brick, and the 5-12-6. I don't love his picks, but he is in a tough spot here, so we're going to go ahead and take the 6-3-4. We're really hammering those development cards here. We want as much sheep as possible, and I also want to build to the other 8 rock. Now, having rock is super important, and what that means is if I only have 1 rock in the top left, then my opponent has a very easy time blocking that resource the entire game, and I don't want to allow him to do that. I want him to have to pick between my 2 8s, and no matter what, I want to be rolling rocks constantly. Also, I really like having 8 and 6 just in general when playing 1v1. The most often rolled resources are going to be your 8 and 6s, so not having one of those numbers really limits your potential for longevity in your game. You want to be placing on 8s and 6s if possible, especially in 1v1. You just need resources rolling constantly. So I trade and I build a road here. I'm really building out to that 3-1 port early. I want to take advantage of that. I'm not going to have brick at all, so I really need to take advantage of trading for it so that I can build my roads and my settlements as quickly as possible in the early game. Right now I'm saving up resources, just waiting for some rolls to come in. My opponent has already built a settlement, which is fine. We know he's going to have the early game advantage. Here we get unfortunate. We roll a 7 with a discard, so I'm picking my woods because I don't really need them. Even though I only have a 4 wood, I don't really need the wood right now. I really want to keep my resources to try to build up development cards in cities. So we go ahead and pop here and build a development card. We get a knight, which is great. It's going to allow me to move the robber at some point in the future and start building on the largest army, which is going to be one of our key ways to victory in 1v1. You typically, you need so many victory points in 1v1. You need 15 victory points, so you really need the rock to be pumping out your development cards as well as cities. You need to get cities, and you need development cards, and you need largest army generally or longest road to pull out a victory. Sometimes both is also possible. And so, you'll see in this game just how crucial rock is to winning. So here I go ahead and I trade for a brick, and we build on the 3-1 port, giving me more rock on every 8 roll, which is great. We get 2 rock on every 8, and here we roll a 7, so we're going to block his brick. Right now he really needs to make more settlements and more roads. That's what he's going for right now, so we want to hinder his progress, and the 9 is the best brick that he has. Obviously 11 is an option you could block, but it's not going to be rolled that often, and you really want to play the numbers game here. It's super important to do that. So now he builds over to the 10-9, which is going to give him access to rock, and now I'm really thinking I want to hammer that 10 as much as possible in this game, because he is now at the point where he has to upgrade his settlements in order to make more. So he's limited by the fact that he only has 5 settlements, and he's used them all already. So he has to build cities. So now I want to start hammering that rock as much as possible. Unfortunately, I roll a robber right after I play my knight, so I don't get to block his 10 for these rolls, but he doesn't end up rolling in anyway, and it's okay. So right now my strategy is to upgrade to cities, build development cards, and block his city progress as much as possible, because that is going to be my key to victory here. I want him to have to trade all his resources away in order to make cities and to make development cards. I don't want him just rolling a 10 and making development cards whenever he feels like it. That is a quick way to lose. I really need to hammer the fact that he only has access to this 10. He could try to build up to my 8 in the top left, but that's going to take him quite a few turns, and it's going to use a lot of resources to do that. So I don't expect him to do that, but it's a possibility that he could try to steamroll my road and get up to the 8-10 and have access to a better rock. That might have been a good strategy if he could hold resources earlier on and save up roads. It could have been a pretty good play. He could also build down from the 10 rock that he's on and build down to the 8-3 and the desert. That would give him access to a better rock as well. So my goal is to maybe stop that and build over to the 8-3 myself, because that's going to allow me to stop his development long term. Long term 1v1, you really need rock. And so here I get the road building. So I'm just going to prepare for what I was just explaining. I want to go to both of those 8 rock spots because rocks are so important, and more importantly, I don't want my opponent to have access to those either. So now we get a good roll and we build on the 8, pop a development card. Things are looking nice. We're tied up victory points wise, but right now we have the numbers and we have not the best placements, but they're going to be more lucrative than his long term because he just doesn't have any way to build cities right now, especially once I start hammering his 10. He's just not going to have many options. So here I'm doing a 3-1, and I'm just going to pop a victory point here. It's not the best thing for me to get, but the thing is I don't want him to roll a 7 like he did and steal my rock, because he really needs rock. So anytime that I can prevent my opponent from having access to rock, even in the unlikely way of him stealing it from me, it's still going to be great for me long term, because I just want to hinder his progress as much as possible. And you can see here, hammering that 10 is just doing me wonders right now. He's missing out on so many rocks, and because I'm constantly getting development cards, I can just keep hammering his rock constantly. I have largest army. I'm looking really good. I'm on 8 victory points now with the hidden victory point from my development card. We're going to go ahead here. We're going to trade. I kind of make a mistake. I thought I had enough to get to a city, but I don't. So we're just making 2 trades, and it looks kind of silly, but it ends up being okay in the end. It wasn't the smartest decision I ever made, but we are not in terrible shape. So now he rolls a 7. He has to discard a ton of cards, and he gets to steal from me. Thankfully, he only takes a wheat. We don't really care about wheats right now. And we play our knight. We're going to hammer his 10 again, just making sure that he does not get any rock this game. So we build another city, and then we get enough rock on this turn to build 2 cities, which is crazy. We're looking really good now. 10 victory points to his 5, and he has no access to rock, which is really what he needs the most. He really wants to make a city here and start building more settlements, but he can't build more settlements because he is maxed out right now. So right now we're trading and building another settlement. Things are looking good. We're going to make a development card here, and we get a monopoly, and I notice that he has rolled wood twice here. So I really just want to take his wood and limit his progress, because even though it's not the best monopoly in the world, it's only 4 cards, it's stopping his progress. It's allowing me to use it to trade for whatever I want instead of him trading for what he wants. So overall, I'm happy with that trade-off. We're in such a dominating position. We just want to crush our opponent's resource generation as much as possible here, and taking his wood is just going to help us do that. And so here we have so many rock, we should probably trade. So we go ahead and we're going to make another city here. We're going to trade with a 3-1 port, and might as well make a road while we're at it. Oh, sorry, I don't make a city here. I make a development card. We make a road and development card. That's fine too. It's all good. So now he's just rolling and we're rolling. He can't really do a whole lot because he has no rock. Again, he really needs it. Unfortunately, he gets a rock here from us. Not the best outcome for us there that he rolls a 7, but it is what it is. We're going to trade here for a wood, use our Year of Plenty, and make a settlement on the 2-to-1 sheep port. Now, if an 8's rolled, we just get so much rock, it's insane. And now, even if he's blocking our rocks, our sheep are going to become powerhouses as well. So now we're really close to winning. We're at 12 victory points to his 5. And we roll a rock. I mean, just look at that rolling in. That's so good for us. Now, what we really want to do is we want to maintain our largest army priority, as well as start progressing our way into a winning game by either building more settlements or building longest road. So you can see we're one off longest road. And if we build one settlement longest road, that's the game over right there. Or if we get a victory point and longest road, that's the game. So we really want to hammer his development still. It's really crucial for us that we just stop him from making cities, because that is the only way he comes back into this game, is with maxing out cities and maybe getting a longest road or something like that. So at this point now I realize, okay, we're one off longest road. If we could have made a road last turn, then we would have won the game. Fortunately, we couldn't. And now I think our opponent is realizing that as well, that he needs to start getting longest road priority. Otherwise, we're going to win this game from out from underneath of him. So he's building some roads. And unfortunately for us, he has enough to get it here. So this is going to set us back a couple turns. If we had a better roll last turn, we would have won the game right there. We don't, so it's unfortunate. So we're going to hammer his rock again, still just want to limit that as much as possible. And you can see every 8 roll is just giving us so many resources. We're going to go ahead and trade and build some roads. And it's at this point I realize I can either get longest road, which our opponent is going to have to fight us against. So that means that every single turn he's going to have to try to build a road to maintain his road priority. Otherwise, he is at jeopardy of losing the game. And it only takes, one good roll for us to win the game here. Unfortunately, we don't get it here. Game could have been over already. We don't get it. The game goes on. So now, unfortunately, we roll a 7, and we don't have any knights right now. So we can't block his 10, which is quite unfortunate. And we could trade for a road, but I don't really like that idea, because right now I'm realizing I could just build 2 settlements and win the game as well. That is also another option. And our opponent is going to have to keep building roads if he wants to try to stave us off from winning the game out from under him. So here I trade and I just build some roads. And that is a settlement. Sorry, we build a settlement. I actually realized here, I think I could have won if I just built roads. I didn't realize this during the game, but it is what it is. We could have built 2 roads and won the game a round earlier. So our opponent's going to move the robber. He's going to block our wood. I don't really know why he's blocking our wood. It's not really anything we even need here. Like, an 8 is much better for us than a 4, and it's going to roll much more often. So he's just making some bad blocks here, which is also not advisable. So here, all we had to do is build a road and we win the game, but it's my opponent's turn. Unfortunately, he's going to go ahead and build a city and pass it to us, and this is the game here. So I am just trading for a wood. I ended up trading for 2 roads. I didn't realize that for some reason I thought our opponent built the road last turn and that I need to build 2, but we built 1 and we win the game.